My relationship with my dad is non-existent. Hey everybody, I'm Cicely Jervis. I'm from the greatest city in the world, New York City. I study social science education at Oakwood University. My hobbies, I'm a creative. I swim, play lacrosse. I'm a gymnast, former gymnast. I'm a model. Yeah, kind of dabble in everything. So, yeah, I don't know my birth parents. Don't know my dad or my mom. I was adopted by my mom, who I call mom now. Um, when I was about 6 months old, I'm not sure. I was just really little, too little to know. So my mom knew that she wasn't going to be able to take care of me and give me the best life possible. So she decided to give me up for adoption. And my mom was the candidate, and I live my best life now. Well, I don't know. Like, yeah. My mom doesn't really know anything about her. She just knows her name, and that I had an older brother who's 5 years older than me. That's it. I found out when I want to say I was old enough to understand and like be able to process it. So I'm gonna say like in elementary school age, sometime there is when I found out. Well, she told me. I think my earliest memory of being aware that I was adopted was, I think, sometime in middle school when someone said, well, I had already known that I was different, but someone said, oh, you don't look like your mom, or you don't look like your sister. And I was just like, yeah, I know. I'm adopted. Like, there's no shame. There's no shame in being adopted. Like, that's how my mom taught me. There's no shame. So I feel like that's when someone kind of like made it seem like, oh, well, it's shameful for you to be adopted, but actually I'm extra blessed. So for me growing up, not knowing my birth parents was different. I struggled a little bit for a long time. I struggled for a while with not knowing my identity. Just because I grew up with a lot of people that had both parents in their lives. They had their mom and dad, their birth parents with them. I was like the only, I guess you can say, oddball out of everybody, of the bunch. So, yeah. I think my mom did an awesome job raising me. I am a strong, independent, black creative who loves the Lord. Yeah. I can't really say any. I don't think she did anything. I don't think there's anything that she didn't do, honestly and truly. I think that not having my birth parents around, I guess I was, well, okay, restart. So I think that not having my birth parents around, well, it's actually proven that kids that have been adopted, suffer from trauma. So, yeah, I kind of suffered from trauma growing up, even though I had like everything in the world that I could basically ever want, for the most part. But you still suffer from a trauma without being with like your actual birth parents, because it's different. It's odd. It's not, God's design, technically God's exact design. So, yeah, I guess I can say I missed out on. I mean, I had a lot of influential men in my life that have helped me grow into who I am today. But I would say, like, yeah, I wanted like that daddy, father, daughter relationship that I've seen my other friends have growing up. By not having that relationship with my birth father or, birth father, I think that I am I'm more independent than I should be. Like, relationships isn't really, not that it isn't a thing for me, but I'm so accustomed to just doing everything by myself and for myself that if I do have a partner, it would be a huge adjustment for me to understand that, okay, like, you have to share now, or you have to not just think about yourself anymore, like you have someone else to worry about. So I think that not having my birth father around kind of messed up my how I relate to have how I relate to having relation to be in a relationship or having relationships with guys. So I think not having my birth dad around, or even not exactly saying that I don't have a model, but a direct model to see, okay, how I should be treated, or what I want in a man is sometimes difficult for me to find, because I have like this vision of what a guy should be, and then LOL, I get something different, or I may like get to know someone, and then down the line they're like a different person. So I think, yeah, I'm not saying it negatively affected me, but it's just, I wouldn't say it's worked out totally in my favor. I think some of the other issues or problems that I face because I haven't had my birth dad around are, I would say, not being able to relate with men, not being able to relate or understand some of the things that they do, because I've never had that like closeness with my birth father, or even know who he is. So the people that have stepped in to be like father figures to me are my godfather, my uncles, and rest in peace to my grandpa. Yeah, those are the people that have stepped in and held it down. I get like you can't expect them to like do everything like a father was, because they're not. But they've always been there for me, and they always will be there for me. Starting some of the ways that they have been there for me, starting with my grandpa. He passed away when I was about 2.5. But I remember the memories that I do have of him was him always like picking me up and swinging me around, and my mom telling him, "Oh, put her down. You're gonna hurt yourself," because I was too heavy or whatever. So just like those like little like joyous moments with my grandfather are some of the most significant memories in my life. My uncles, they've always been there for me. I've never really had like a guy talk with them. That's more like my mom's thing. So I always talk to her about that stuff. But whenever they come over to the house, it's always like you get to hang out with them and talk to them and hear stories about what they did in their past when they're younger, and etc. And lastly, my godfather, he's always been there for me in a different aspect than everybody else. I'm super into music, and my godfather is a musician, and I get to talk to him about God and what I'm going through, mostly in this part of my life, so my college life on, about the struggles that I go through in my day-to-day life, and with all the leadership roles, I get to talk to him about that stuff. And he always, gives advice. He always gives encouragement, constant praying for me and stuff. And he's just a listening ear for me at this current moment. So I feel like even though I haven't met my birth father, or I don't have like a father in my life, God has always set up someone across the way for me to have someone. So I'm thankful for that. So if I had my birth father in my life, I think relationships would be easier to understand and to get. Maybe I really don't know. Honestly, I don't really see anything at the current moment that yeah, I don't see anything in the current moment that'd be different. That how I would be different. I think I'd be the same. I think I would just have more support, financial and emotional support, in the things that I do. Who knows? Only God knows, right? I okay, sorry. I do want to find my birth parents one day, mainly because health records. LOL, it sounds so bad, but health records. I kind of want to see what they look like to see if I look like them, because that's one thing I didn't have growing up. Like all my other friends, they look like their parents now, or they're going to look like their parents, and I don't know who I'm going to look like or who I look like at the current moment. So yeah, and I just want to get, hopefully, establish, if the Lord says, yeah, establish a relationship with them. It's kind of like what I've heard is like it's either a hit or miss with that. So I'm just gonna like wait until God says you're ready to look for them. What I'm afraid is like I get married, have my own children, God willing, and then my kids are like, "Mom, where do you come from?" And it's like, well, how do I truthfully answer that, because I don't exactly know where my roots exactly lie. I know where culturally my roots lie, but I don't know like where my actual bloodline lies. So yeah, I would want to find out eventually. So being able to deal with the trauma has been something I'm still learning to do. Constant prayer and talking to God and talking to a counselor has definitely helped me so far. Still have a long ways to go, because kind of still, I guess, well, I do have some hate in my heart, because I'm like, well, why leave me up? But at the same time, I also know it had to be for a good reason, and that who knows what my life could have been right now. But yeah, a counselor and constant prayer is what really keeps me together, especially like when I'm feeling down, or I've had a bad day or a bad week. And so the anger that I have, well, yeah, I can understand why people would say it's reasonable, but when I think about where I could be, and I guess the circumstances of what my mom has told me so far, that she had just come from another country. She didn't a country that she wasn't a citizen of, and like she couldn't, and she knew that she couldn't raise me. I have to respect the fact that she didn't just keep me, because I've heard stories of other parents like not wanting their kids and keeping them, or not being able to provide for them and keeping them, and they struggle like their entire life. But for me, I've never had to struggle in my entire life. I've been immensely blessed. I think that anger that I had did roll over growing up. I want to say mainly toward my preteen, teen life. All the anger was always in me, and I didn't know what to do with it or how to let it go. And I kind of just suppressed it by doing other things, and my mom put me in every sport and made me do everything growing up. So I think by doing all those sports and just being creative in other ways kind of allowed me to suppress those thoughts and that anger. I think as I've got older and through my therapy sessions, I've gotten over it slowly but surely. But there are times when, yeah, I'm just not here for it, and I feel it.
Do you think they'll resurface whenever you do eventually try to meet your parents?
I think that depending on how it goes, they may or may not come back. I think that may trigger it, because it may just be, I think whatever energy I'm receiving from my birth parents will eventually allowed internalize and then maybe transfer out or maybe not. I don't know. Okay, I have thought about if they've ever like looked for me, but technically through the agency that I was adopted by, well, the process happened through, I have to go and from what I've heard, I have to go and like say that I want to meet them because maybe they've done it already, and then through the agency you get paired, like you get to meet them through the agency. So I haven't done it yet because I don't think I'm ready per se, but maybe they've already done it, and I don't know. So I wouldn't know unless I go research, but not ready yet.
Why do you think?
The reason why I think I'm not ready yet is because I think I'm scared of the reaction. I think I'm scared of the interaction that may or may not happen. I think I'm not ready to handle what may come next after meeting them, like all that emotional stress. And I'm in a time in my life where I need to focus on leveling up or focus on getting my career started. So I haven't decided to do it yet. And I'm still waiting for God to give me the okay. And I haven't got it yet. And I still feel like I need to keep doing therapy before and after. So that's why I haven't done it yet. So not having my birth father around or in my life has impacted my relationship with God for a long time. Because I was like, all right, why would you do this to me? And how are you supposed to be my father when I can't see you or I can't touch you like everybody else can? So I was upset with him because I felt like he did those to me on purpose. I felt like it was an attack on me, but in actuality it wasn't. Like I said, I don't know what they're like, so for right now, I like to think it's as a blessing. But it took me a long time to be like, okay, I trust you. It took me a long time to say, I'm gonna walk with you, I'm gonna talk with you, we're gonna walk this life. I'm gonna do this life with you. Yeah, I think that's how it's impacted me. It would shape me or how I would be as a mom. I don't like how I started that.
The way you started the first time was good. Just keep going.
Okay. I think I'd be super involved, like my mom was in my sister and I's life. Sister and I. Sorry. I think I'll do my best to be the best mom I could be. I don't know.
Is your sister?
So growing up with a sister that's also adopted, who's younger than me, well, I didn't really like her at first. Not because she was adopted or anything. It was just because I was like the only one, and living in the house, and now there's another one. So, but our bond, my sister and I's bond is unbreakable. That's my partner in crime, my player. I think now in this stage of her life, she went to go look for her birth mom on her own, and I think her results, what she found out, kind of scared me and strayed me away from doing mine.
How does your mom feel about you looking for your birth parents?
That's so funny. So we talked about her. I talked about it with her about looking for my mom, and she totally understood. She totally agreed. She just advised me to wait. She think what she would do was wait until she was like about to get married or married before looking for them, so that I can have that emotional support where it's needed. And I agree with that. I think I was gonna wait until then. Or wait till I'm like 25 or something like that. Midlife, you know. Well, not midlife, but it is midlife. I think the role of a father played a huge role, especially in the Black community. Um, from jump, we've always been separated from our fathers, all the way to even current day. Our fathers or our Black men are always getting shot or killed or placed in jail, and the Bible talks about the father being the head of the household and keeping that unity there. And I think that by a lot of us not having our fathers around, we're kind of disadvantaged in a sense. We don't understand like how to love exactly, or have a complete protector. Well, a human protector per se. It's hard for moms to just like rule, like not rule, but be head of the household and do mom duties. It's hard. It's hard for them to do both, and I think it's important that you have two people to split the jobs evenly, so one person slacks, the other can pick up. Yeah. Okay. Dear Dad, I want to get to know you. I want you to be a part of my life. I want to share all the joyous occasions that you missed out on. I want to I want you to be able to eventually walk me down the aisle. Be able to have to share. I want you to be able to be a grandfather to my kids. I want us to have a relationship like the way I have a relationship with Christ. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to. You don't have to try so hard. I just want to know you for you.